Hello guys and welcome to another AirStream DMX bridge tutorial. In this video we're going to take a look at building scenes and recording your different looks. So a scene is basically a look that you create, then record to be able to play back later. It works very similar to the scenes in my DMX 2.0 except for one major difference, and that is you can play back multiple scenes at the same time. And that's really clever because what that means is you can layer different scenes on top of each other, have different scenes to control different lights, and even create momentary flash buttons to be able to strobe the lighting rig or flash different lights on a cue. So let's take a look at how you can start building some scenes. Now, I've created a look here in the app using the inner pocket spots and the inner pocket washes. So you can see here, I've got all my attributes set how I want them. If you go into fixtures here, you can see I've currently got the pocket spots deselected because I started with them first, and then I've currently got the pocket washes selected because I've just finished setting them up how I want them. Now if I go into the channels here, I want to be able to save this as a scene to be recalled later. So to do that, I'm going to press the save button at the top of the screen. It's now going to bring me to my scenes list. Now unlike the effects, which only have 24 different slots, scenes have up to 72 different slots that you can record into. So let's currently record into my slot number 1. And here we've got our saving scene option. So at the top we've got the scene file name. Now, as I mentioned in the last video with the effects, the file structure of how scenes, shows and effects save is very important. Basically, when you save a scene, it saves it to a master list of all of the different scenes you've ever created, but also assigns it to a button. So when you save your scenes, it saves them to a list, but then you can assign any scene from that list to any individual button. It'll become more clear in just a second. But the important thing is you have a different name for the actual scene and a different name for the button you've assigned it to. So here I'm going to call this, let's just call this blue/white cross, and the button label is going to be a shortened version of blue, white, X. So you can see there we've got our scene file name and the button label, two different things. Above that, you've got the button appearance, and if you click on it and then move your finger from right to left, you're basically scrolling through the color spectrum and you can stop and pick any color you want. So for this, I'm going to go for a deep blue like that. You can also click on the image option next to it, which will open up access to your camera roll, and you can add in a picture from there if you want to. So in fact, what I could do here, open up the camera app on the iPad and take a picture of the scene I've just created. And then when I go back into the AirStream app, I can load up an image from my camera roll, use that image, and now I've got an actual reference, a picture of what that scene actually is, saved in the icon. Below that, we've got an option for fade time, which basically allows you to choose whether you want the scene to snap on when you click the button or fade in over a certain amount of time. In this case, I'm just going to leave it as a snap. And then finally underneath we've got the option for a momentary flash button, and we'll come onto this a little bit later on. So I'm finished with that and everything is set up, and I'm going to hit save, but it's not going to work. Press save and we have an error. Now the reason for that is, if you notice in my scene file name I've got a /. Now we can't use symbols within our file name, so I'm going to remove that now, press save, and this time it's going to work. So just take note of which symbols and icons and things like that you're putting inside your file names. So now that's done, we can go back to our channel view. I can hit clear and clear all of our fixtures to turn everything off. And if we go into our scenes pool now, you can see there we've got our blue-white cross with our custom icon. And when I tap on it, it's going to recall the scene I have behind me. However, that fixture selection I mentioned earlier on is very important. You remember I was talking about how I didn't have the pocket spots selected, yet I did have the pocket washes selected. And even so, it recorded the entire look. It's important to note that when you hit save on that scene, it captures every single active channel, no matter if the fixture is selected or not. So I'm going to go ahead now and turn that off and create a different scene using some different lights. I'm going to go ahead and grab the 5p hex, put it in a purple, and then go ahead and grab the megabar and also put that into a purple. And I'm going to go ahead and record that as a scene. hit save, select an empty slot, call this purple LED, and this time I'm going to give it a fade time of about 2.5 seconds. And let's hit save. So now in our scenes list, I can load up the blue-white cross, but also on top of that, load in the purple LED. Both those scenes are layered on top of each other, and I can control them independently. So the ability to layer scenes on top of each other is very clever and allows you to do some really exciting things. So for example here, I'm going to go and clear everything out and create a brand new scene. Now remember what I said earlier about it only captures the active values. Well, in this instance, we're going to only record color information. So I'm going to go ahead and start off by selecting my fixtures. First of all, I'm going to grab the pocket washes. I'm going to go to channels, and I'm going to turn on the green LED channel, but nothing else. So even though nothing is currently turned on, the AirStream app is going to record the green channel. So I'm going to go ahead and do that as well for the 5p hex. This time that's going to output because of course it has no master dimmer channel. And the megabar, put the green on for that as well. And now I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And I'm going to create a scene. And we're going to save that. So now what I'm going to do is turn on my purple LED. And now when I press the green button, it's not going to do what you expect it to do. Instead of turning all my lights green, it's actually just going to add the green channel on top of what I've already got here. So if you want to be able to set a button to only do green, you need to record it in a different way. We're going to go back here, I'm going to grab the lights again, put it into green, but this time I'm going to set my red to 0, my blue to 0, and my white to 0. Now even though nothing is there, it's still capturing that as an active value because we haven't cleared it since we last turned it on. I'm going to go also and select the 5p hex, make that green, and then turn all the other attributes to off. And same with the megabar. So now, when we hit save, we're going to save this as green version 2. So this time, hopefully, when I turn on my blue-white cross, followed by my purple LED, in theory, when I hit my new green, it's now going to turn everything green because I actually recorded the other channels to be at 0 rather than left them in the background. So it's important when you're recording your different scenes, you think about the information you're capturing. It'll only record your active values, and that includes values that may be at 0. So the next thing to look at quickly is a momentary flash button. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some of my lights here. I'm just going to grab some of the LED fixtures, turn them on in full white. Let's just get the megabar and the 5p hex. So they're now in full white. I'm going to save that as a scene, scene 5, and we're just going to call it white flash. And I'm going to, at the bottom here, toggle the enable flash button. Hit save, and then clear all my fixtures. So now I'm going to turn on my blue-white cross, and now when I hit that momentary flash button, I can flash that scene I recorded, which is great for creating a blinder type flash effect, which is quick to access. And the last thing to mention about scenes is you can also record effects. So if I go here and enable my audience pan effect on my pocket spots, and then I go back and resave my blue-white cross scene and overwrite the file. If I then go ahead and clear all my fixtures, and when I next enable the blue-white cross, it's going to have that effect recorded into it. So you can record effects into your scenes. So when it comes to playing back scenes at your gig, it's as simple as tapping on a scene to enable it, and tapping again to disable it. You've also got different options, including a solo mode. If you tap on solo, what it'll do is it'll turn off all the other scenes except the one you tap on. And then finally in the top left, you have a clear function to turn off all of your active scenes. If we go into this sign option at the top, we can see the list of all of our different scenes. You can tap on them to get that additional settings info. But if you click on the little eye icon, what you'll be faced with is your scene files. Again, just to highlight this, your scene files are different to your scene assignments. So I can go ahead and delete green here, from bank number 3. So 3 is now empty, and I can go up to 9 and press the eye icon and get back to my scene files where I can then reassign green to be in bank 9. If I wanted to permanently delete green from not only my bank assignment but also from my scene files, I simply swipe across and hit delete. So that is a look at scenes in the AirStream DMX bridge. If you want to see the rest of my tutorial videos, make sure you click on the annotation up here or the first link in the description below. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching.